The biggest misconception about Asperger's, in my opinion, is that you automatically judge that that person's just doomed for the rest of their life and they are not going to have a social life nor a relationship to be in or have a love life or have a good job because they have Asperger's.
The myths, I think that, lack of a better way of putting it, is based upon oral language and how people talk to each other. And when you look on that and how a teenager may say something in high school about somebody who has Asperger's, is this lazy son of a gun who's trying to get out of work of doing things, in his classes, and then just wants to spend, his time in his parents' basement. And so that's kind of like the misconception about Asperger's, is that this person is lazy to go through school and finish work, pretends to be really anxious, has a so-called excuse about interacting and doing the kind of work that other people want to do, and get out of doing work, which is to some extent a prevalent misconception. And but the actuality is that when you're on the spectrum, it's a guessing game at what it is that you're doing and what it is that society is expecting from you, and trying to match that, and that's why we're constantly living in anxiety. But you cannot really separate anxiety from living with autism.
A lot of people have told us throughout the years, mostly strangers, when he's playing with their children at the park and we tell them that he was diagnosed with Asperger's, they'll look at me like, that doesn't seem right. Because they'll see him playing happily with the other kids, and they think of kids with Asperger's as these antisocial monsters who are beating up on their children, and and they'll look at him and be like, no, I don't think he has Asperger's. I think you better get him rechecked. And it's like, no, he does. They have this preconceived idea of how a kid with Asperger's should act, and if they see him being sociable and friendly and concerned about other children, then it's like, oh, he can't have Asperger's. No, because that's not how kids with Asperger's act. They see this normal-looking child who's way too old to be throwing a tantrum in the store, yelling at their mother in the store, and they instantly judge. They need to understand that not just Asperger's, but if you see a child acting inappropriately in a store, you don't immediately just jump to the conclusion that this is a horrible mom and a bratty kid.
But I think there aren't really myths and misconceptions, but more people equating one part of autism to autism as a whole. I think probably the biggest myth that people believe is that all people with autism are a certain way. They'll think, oh, we're all loners, or we all are like Sheldon in the Big Bang Theory and we don't have empathy, or we're all geniuses who have IQs of 500 to 1,000. Those are all myths, but at the same time they are fact. Some people with autism are loners, some people are smart, some people with autism don't have empathy, but that doesn't apply to every person with autism. Here's another myth. A person's functioning level is based on their language. Just because a person is fully verbal does not mean they are high functioning, and does not mean that they are successful in life. And just because a person is nonverbal does not mean they are lower functioning. That, to me, are the two main misconceptions. But in reality, it's not really just the world of autism that can learn from these misconceptions. It's wrong to stereotype any group. It's wrong to take one person of any group and equate them to the whole.